Gaming, coming at y'all with another video, and I'm getting caught up on the locals gameplay commentary video. So this is going to be week 12 of our Union Arena locals gameplay videos. These are the 4 decks that are getting highlighted here. In the first round, we do have our normal Hashira player, which I have noted as the Hashira Toolbox player. And then one of our other guys from locals running a very unique list of a yellow toolbox. I know it's mostly Hashiras as well, but he is also running some cool other yellow cards in it, I think. But both mainly focusing on the Hashira kind of stuff, and I just wanted to note that his deck list is a lot different, so I wanted to give it a different name. Both are going to start off with some early energy generators here. On the left side, him being able to bounce the Love Hashira back to the hand means he's up on the double energy from 1 card, so maybe a little ahead of the game. Sorry about the glare on that card. His deck is so blinged out that some of these cards are too shiny to try and figure out what they are. But he is going to pay 1 to draw a card, and he is going to use the search card for the Hashiras, which I do think is a really, really good card. If you're trying to find these cards, it's really cool because I think that, yeah, you get the action point there if you add something back and you don't have to trash anything. So I really like search cards like this that are essentially just a free change a card in your hand with this card to find a character that maybe you need a lot more. I do think he needs to play someone on the front line here. He's going to choose to not do that, just going to play the Obonai on the back line. So giving up a lot of pressure here to this swinger, being able to get that free check early, and probably going to get another free check in here. Just going to play his Obonai on the back line. Curious to see if he can, fix his energy line also a little bit. They're both sitting at 3, I do believe. The deck does need to manage its energy efficiently. I'll just say that. There's a lot of ways to mess up your energy in this deck. Some of the cards being really high cost, but not anything crazy. Nothing over 5 or 6, I don't believe. He is at the 2 because he did use his get the AP back card. And just thinking about probably, if I would imagine, I've played against him a lot, if he wants to be aggressive or not. And he's just going to get his energy line here because he wanted to be able to play out this Guillaume, which lets him play out another Hashira if he trashes a card. So yeah, this was a pretty explosive play for him. The Wind Hashira here getting to come out active because he does have enough other Hashira on the field. So that way he is able to, get a swing in and really commanding a humongous board presence, not having a ton of cards in your hand. But I do think that with the Hashira deck, just from learning him play and seeing it, you do just kind of like vomit your hand onto the board and then just use your extra AP to get you that draw power. Just moving up here on the right side, Hashira player here going to use the double energy generator. That way he's able to play out this Tengen. And nice, he is able to, get some stability going on his energy line here now. He does have the Guillaume out and is going to have to lose the bird. But now he is set up with 5 energy, so hopefully he can, bring out some combative plays the next turn. Is just going to Hashira trial away the Guillaume. That is a big body on the board to worry about. Maybe should have drawn a card here, but he's just going to push in with the Love Hashira, paying that 1 extra AP to make her 4,000. All he sees is a total concentration breathing. Gonna choose to block out these bodies here and taking a lot of damage here. He took the Toshi to the hand. I think that he is an active trigger, but it didn't matter too much because he didn't have anybody on the board. But this is not looking good for him. Even if he moves some of these characters up, he's gonna have to put 4 bodies on the board just to not lose this following turn. Trying to see his hand. He does have a total concentration breathing, I think, so he can, cheat a little extra plays this turn with the extra AP. But I do think that he would have had to move something up, but he doesn't have the energy to be able to move these cards up and then still be able to play some of these bigger bodies. But he does have the 3 AP, just going to choose to play the Toshi on the back line to tap down the Guillaume. But that took 2 action points and he played it on the back line. If he would have put it on the front line, he could have, used it as a blocker, and then when Toshi dies, he gets to tap something down. So maybe it would have been a little bit better of a way to save himself, but he was trying to get the energy for the Hashira trials, but maybe should have played up front. Either way, he was in a really, really bad spot in this game. Just with all this pressure, the Hashira player on the left was able to put on the board. I do think some of the smaller cards, like the Kobayashi and the Bird, do give you a little bit better consistency in your energy maybe a little earlier on, but those bodies not offering a lot of pressure on the board is kind of the trade-off you get, right? A little bit more consistent in your energy and plays of being able to drop characters down, but they are not as strong later in the game as you can see with some of these Hashira he's had on the board. Nothing in life was going to need some good triggers to keep him in it. In the second round, we do have Garou going against one of our local Kurapika players. This is not me on the right. This is one of the other locals. But I do think the Garou and Kurapika matchup is a very even matchup back and forth. I think both decks can do things to combat each other really, really well. I do think that Garou can maybe be a lot scarier earlier on in the game, but if you can get down some of the 5k blocker or the 5k Kurapikas down to block out and wall out some of these early 4500 Garous, you can put yourself in a decent spot in the game. He is seeing the best card that you want to see early in the Kurapika deck, which is the Zepile. I do hardly believe in that card. I love it. I run it at a 4 of in mind because I want to see it getting that cycle in the deck, because you do just want to see your Kurapikas. The Garou player is able to play the 0-drop and play one of the bounce cards back to the hand, so just bouncing the smaller cards. So he is up on energy generation at the moment. The Kurapika just going to play down a Kurapika, or draw a card and play down Kurapika, and the Garou is going to play the Bird, which lets him search out a Garou, I do believe. Does have to trash a card when he searches there, so glad he did that. And then now is going to play out the Monster Association card. I think that this gets to come in active. I can't recall exactly. He may be choosing to not do so, but nothing else for him to do, so he just has to pass here. But he does have really good energy generation going on. Hopefully the Kurapika player on the right can get down a double energy generator on this turn. He is playing the Setots this turn. I do not play this card in my deck. I cannot recall what the Setots does, but I know a lot of lists play that. There he goes. He is playing down the Basho. That is a very iconic card in the deck. It does have double energy generation. It is a decent body, and it has step. I do not run it in my deck. I probably should. I've been doing a lot of testing with Kurapika, and I really am happy with the build that I have right now. I do think that his build is a little more typical of a Kurapika build. He did play the Leorio, which puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. That Leorio is no slouch. Usually you'll see that if you see a Kurapika player play down this Leorio, you want to get rid of it. I know it's probably not as scary as a threat as some of the big Leorios are, or the Kurapikas are, but that Leorio gives you a lot of value in the game, being able to, you know, power himself up and draw cards. If your opponent doesn't block him, it's a really good consistency card. So good call by the Garou player here, just getting rid of that body off the board. Looking like he's trying to count his energy here. He does have plenty of energy to play just about everything that he wants in the deck. That is the alien guy. I'm blanking on his name. I'm sorry, y'all. I did watch One Piece. This card is good. I know it's a good card. It's really, really strong. Or One-Punch-Man. And he does seem to have the tempo in his favor here. Kurapika is definitely going to have to look to move up some cards. Yep. And hopefully get his energy fixed to double energy. 2, 4, 5. He's only at the 6 energy at the moment. So not where he wants to be. But he is... Alright, yeah, he's just taking this back. Sorry, he should have tapped that first, and he's letting him redo it. Yeah, you tap that card to get the double energy generation, which will put him at 7. But once he goes to combat, the Setots will have to go to the sideline. So very risky play by the Kurapika player here, because he's potentially messing up his energy line big time here, not being at the 7, so not able to get anything in his security if he does see a Kurapika, but is going to get the snipe impact over the Garou and swing in with the Zepile just to give the Garou player a draw trigger. It does look like Garou is sitting at about 4 to 5 cards in the trash, or the sideline, excuse me, so he is going to be online pretty soon if he can get a raid Garou out into the board. Not playing that the right way. Definitely should, you know, move up first, then play your cards, but both of these are newer players to the card game. The Garou player on the left, I actually traded him this deck after I built it, essentially the whole deck, because he did get really, really lucky pulling the action points out of the starter deck, and I did really, really want them. Really beautiful action point cards, and he has an awesome Garou deck to play with now. Looking like he is choosing to pick the Zepile with the event card here. Should be able to just block out. The Zepile has to block, and then he can block out the other character with his kurapika. So a little unfortunate that the garou player does not have anything crazy in his hand. He does have the big garou down on the board to be able to move up next turn. Now that he has the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in the trash. But now, you know, he's in trouble because kurapika and a Hisoka are really, really scary cards to have to deal with from your opponent, right? So let's see if he can get through this. He is just going to swing in with the Hisoka, which is going to let him draw some cards, which is why it's such an amazing card in the deck. Then just swinging in with the kurapika here. No trigger that is notable for him to have to mess around with. He is going to use his AP to draw a card, which is probably a good call. Yep, he does have the Raid Garou, which is going to give him some presence in this game. He's not going to be boosted up enough yet to, you know, be able to get over this kurapika. I think he played a card and moved up again. Definitely doing things a little out of the sorts. I don't think that card lets him, when played, move something up, but it's okay. Like I said, it's a friendly locals. He is definitely learning the game. Is going to get blocked out here. The Garou lets him look at the top card, and then definitely want to put it into your sidelines. That way you cycle some cards into your sideline here. That way he could try to boost his Garou up. He may be at 10 cards. I think that's probably what he's telling him now. So that Garou is a little stronger, but he shouldn't have too much to, you know, deal with. He's going to have to take that one and then just block out the Garou. Only being 4,500, not strong enough to get over the kurapika, but he does get to draw a card. Now, hopefully on the kurapika player side, he is set up really, really well on his energy. Very fortunate to draw so many cards with some of the cards he's played down and keep that double energy generation going alive. He is going to Hunter license here to get his turn back, essentially. And he has everything he needs in his hand other than a Raid Kurapika. But he will be just fine having that Emperor time. He has Leorios in his hand. He really can just, you know, do everything that he wants here. Probably just play down a body, I would imagine, and he's just paying for the Hisoka here. You could pay 1 for this Hisoka until the end of the turn. Your opponent must block this character's attacks if able, which is really, really good. He is going to give the Kurapika Snipe, and the Kurapika always has impact. He should be drawing a card here. The Emperor time says if you do, you know, battle something to win it, you can draw a card. So I think he's missing out on his draw here, but you know, that is an easy effect that a lot of people forget about. The Emperor time gives that character, when it attacks and wins a battle, you draw a card, which is missing a little tempo and draw power in your hand. Or I could have just missed that he drew. Like I said, I sped this game up a lot because this was like I think they went to time almost. It was like a 40-minute game almost. And so this is sped up 1.75 times is what I did, just to be able to give us a little commentary on it. And I didn't want to speed it up too fast to not be able to comment on the games. But you can see here the Garou player is having an issue, like I talked about earlier, getting over big bodies. In most cases, 4,000 is enough to threaten most decks in the game, outside of, you know, One-Punch-Man decks and then green ramp decks. And Kurapika being that base 5,000 does put him in a good spot if you get one out early to wall out a lot of these Garous. He isn't able to do much here. Just saying that he can block through with this character. You don't die when you block. I think he's just not sure why he's sending the character to the sideline. You don't die when you block. Like I said, I'm still not too familiar with the deck. I did build it, but like I said, I traded it away to him as soon as I built it. But he is just going to use his Garou when swinging to look and either put it back to the top or to the sideline. I'm still confused why this bird is in the trash. I think it should be on the board. You don't die when you swing in. He is a Digimon player, and us Digimon players are used to our characters. If they swing in and they die, I could be missing out something here why the bird is still not on the board. But either way, moving on with the rest of the game, Kurapika is definitely in an amazing spot here. When you're able to use that AP to draw a card and still apply a lot of pressure on the board, you can do some really strong stuff with Kurapika if your bodies aren't getting answered. Fortunate enough for the Kurapika player, right? Like, the Garou has not been able to kill that big Kurapika, so he's just been able to keep getting that impact each turn. He is going to Hunter's License again. Seeing these so early and often, being able to press the state of the game is definitely beneficial for him. He's just letting him know that the Kurapika does keep the impact, I'm sure, is what he's saying here. If we can see in his hand, he does have another Kurapika. He's going to play this one down. I would imagine probably raiding into this other Kurapika. I think he's just asking him how many cards he has in hand. Not sure why the Hisoka has moved now. Very confused about the single C and what's going on here. Apparently now Hisoka's gone, and so is the bird. I could be missing an interaction here. Regardless, it should be a raid Kurapika, I would imagine, coming out of his hand here. He has plenty of energy for it. He can get that restand out of that Kurapika in the back line by doing so. But maybe just trying to decide if he wants to push the game that hard, right? But I'd imagine he's just going to play down the double action point Leorio, which lets him grab a green character from the sideline back to his hand. Really awesome to see that he runs this card. I've been preaching to a lot of people that that Leorio is so good for the deck because it lets you get back your Kurapikas from the sideline when they're in there, because you know it is the most important card of the deck, so you do want to see the Kurapika. It's just going to use the Hero Almanac thing here. I am just very confused about that interaction on the card, so y'all have to forgive me for not knowing exactly what it does and what is going on here. He is going to play the Garou down, which is a decently big body, but then going to have to raid on top of it, which is going to put him in a position to not be able to block out. Then now he's moving something up. Very confusing to commentate on this one since a lot of these plays are out of order. And like I said, I don't have any audio about exactly what is going on here. But just going to use his Garou effect here to look at the top, either put it back to the top of the sideline. He chooses it, keep it on top. Just going to, you know, block out. Now he is trashing cards in his hand, which I'm also not sure why he's doing that. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel so lost in commentating on this game, but I don't think that Garou makes you trash any cards from your hand, right? It's kind of weird that he's trashing the cards in his hand. With this impact on the board, it should just be game either way. Maybe they're just talking about some stuff and maybe, like, you know, just saying and deciding that the game is already over, and they are just maybe explaining some stuff to each other about the way the game works and having a little conversation here about it. But he is drawing. So he probably threw away 2 cards because he does have a lot of cards in his hand. So maybe he just forgot to do that at the end of the step for the last turn, and just remembering to do it now before he draws, which is a good call to do it if you do forget. No harm, no foul, but it would determine like what you would keep in your hand, right? Depending on what happens during that turn, so it could change some things. But these Kurapikas are guaranteed in the game for sure. Nothing in life. No final trigger. A nice back and forth, just seeing what Kurapika could do to control the board there. So we do have the Hashira Toolbox player from the first round on the left once again, and then we are going to have Kurapika on the right once again. This is a pretty iconic matchup for our store because I do run Kurapika and my buddy on the left is always running Hashiras. He has learned a lot about how to play against Kurapika, so interesting to see how he does against a different Kurapika player and a different Kurapika list in this matchup. He's choosing to go a little defensive on the second round of this one. I know that he usually does like to play out that Love Hashira early to put some pressure on Kurapika, being able to boost her up by 1,000. But really an amazing start for Kurapika here, being able to play down a double energy generator and a single one on his second turn. We are going to see a couple of the Hashiras coming down and a total concentration breathing, but choosing not to do so because you do have to have that action point left up to do it, and just explaining that you can't just get the 2 back, you have to pay 1, and he paid to draw a card and play a character, so that's why he wasn't able to do that. We are going to see a double energy generator Kurapika, and this is looking good for him so far. If I'm on, you know, 5 energy on my 3 action point turn, I feel really, really good about it, and now he is at 6, so he's going to be in a good spot for energy. Seeing what's in his hand here, though, I maybe would have pushed something up, because we see he has another of the double energy generator Kurapika, and he could have just moved up that 1 energy generator Kurapika and still done all these same plays and have his double energy in the back. So maybe a little misplay and sequency. If you're trying to be super efficient with the deck, that is definitely how you would probably choose to do that and not mess up your energy line. But he could be thinking that he may take some damage this turn and is preferring to have the bigger Kurapika on the front line to help him, you know, block out these attacks. He does have the Wind Hashira here, which is, you know, going to swing in twice, and he was just letting him know that, so there's no reason to block it. But he does take the 1 swing, and he is looking at a pretty scary board, but he does not have a, you know, big Kurapika in his hand. He's gonna have to move up and just pray off of this Neon Gaming here that he can get a Kurapika. Looking at the top 4 cards, he does get to play 1 character with an action point. And he sees 2 finals. This is not good. He can't play the Neon. He's gonna have to play this Kurapika. He will get it out active onto his front line, but really, really unfortunate to see 2 final triggers go to the bottom of the deck. He is telling him that Rengoku is a double blocker here, I imagine, so good on him by just giving his opponent a heads up. He does have the Ray Kurapika now. I think that if you want to push the pressure of this game, you got to forego trying to keep your energy safe. I think you just raid on the 1 on your back line. He does see the play down the... he's going to raid it on the front line, and I know that he's doing this to try to put a lot of pressure on his opponent. He does have 2 of these, but if you use 2 of these on 1 turn, you're putting yourself at the risk of getting hit with a special trigger and losing both of these Kurapikas. So this is a very greedy, aggressive play. Definitely just not how I play the Kurapika, but definitely a good way to do it. There should have been a check on this Kurapika because it did have impact, so he was missing a check on that first swing, or he could have had nullify impact, so maybe that's why the check didn't go through. Either way, yeah, I think that one had nullify impact, so that's why he didn't get the other check. Definitely a very strong play by the Kurapika player, but knowing what he has in his hand now, we know that he doesn't have a lot outside of this turn. So if this Hashira player can break his board, which he is starting to do so, you can see now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, not being able to, you know, answer back what's going on. We are just going to see the Hashira Trials, the Water Hashira, and just a Obanai on the back. He is going to get 1 swing in here. The Kurapika was able to block. Now this other Kurapika should be able to stand up because the color trigger was hit on the other turn. Not being able to clear this other Kurapika is not great for the Hashira player, but we know in the Kurapika player's hand that he doesn't have any answers. So that last turn of doing that, now he is in a little trouble. Just going to try to, you know, play out big bodies while he can. He is going to give this Kurapika once again snipe, so he can pick which body he wants to go over. Going to choose to snipe over, I would imagine, yeah, the Yome here, yeah, the Water Hashira here, just being able to get this impact through, that being the biggest body that's on the board. Is going to swing in with the other Kurapika, choosing not to block this because he knows that he has some good triggers, able to get a draw trigger there, not wanting to lose those bodies because those bodies can help him answer this board because the Kurapikas will have to block out. We see another Hashira Trials and a Love Hashira able to answer the board here, just seeing the Basho being able to get the active trigger, which is why the Basho is really, really strong. I understand why so many people play him. I'm going to have to try to find some room for him in my deck once again. Choosing not to move up and just take the extra draw right here, so then he can decide if he wants to move up. Is going to have to bring out this Kurapika here. He is only at 5 energy, so it does not have the impact. Now he will get the Zep Pile to draw 1 trash one, giving him the impact, and then hopefully able, you know, to play something down. That Kurapika is when played, look at the top card, so he should be able to look at his top card here and decide if he wants to put it to the top or bottom, but just not remembering that that's what he gets to do here. That one is a little confusing because it's on play and when attacking, you get to look at the top card of your deck and decide if you want to put it on the top or bottom. Using the extra draw here, you're going to see a lot of Hashira players. If you're playing Hashiras, you do want to do like kind of what he's doing, controlling the board, using the extra draw as often as you can, because you just want to rush your opponent down with all these bodies. Just say Satats in life, nothing crazy here. Is going to have to block out one of his Kurapikas. Does get a get trigger Kurapika to his hand. He did pay the extra 1000 BP for both of the, or AP for both of these Love Hashiras, so they are able to, you know, put pressure on the Kurapikas. If he had a Raid Kurapika in his hand, he could go into the Raid Kurapika to clear the board, but we know he's already played so many of these. He may have to take an extra draw. Does not see an answer here, so I think he just has to move up bodies, which is exactly what he's doing to try to survive another turn. If the Hashira player does find a way to get impact, he will be in trouble, but it is hard to do that. I think there's only 2 options in the deck that'll let you get the impact. He should be able to swing out here though, because these Love Hashiras do not keep that DP boost. They only keep it during that turn. He is going to swing and take it here, then choosing not to do the effect again. He does remember this time, is going to put it to the bottom. So it really sucks for him to not have done that twice already. He could be 2 cards deeper to hopefully get in that Kurapika. Maybe the Hashira player does block here, not wanting to go down to 1. I would not go down to 1 against Kurapika, being able to get 2 instances of impact. So I think he needs to take this. Not take this, but he did, so maybe he can finish the game out this turn. The Love Hashiras will give him 4k bodies if he pays for them. Is going to use a Toshi here. We could not see his hand, so that's why he didn't take the swing, because he knew he could tap 1 card down and then be able to get this last swing in. Is going to swing through here, get this last check, and nothing in life to save him. That is going to be the tournament. Our Hashira player being the winner of this tournament. He is topping our leaderboards, and I do have the deck list at the end of the video here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me today. Peace.